Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you're watching. My name is Mwadrichi Benjamin Uchenna, a 500 level student of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. So we want to discuss about something important as a final year student and also students. Many people are still asking, what can I do next after my undergraduate study? Most of us, most students also have passion in lecturing and teaching, but they don't know what it takes to be a lecturer in Nigerian university. So to solve that problem or to answer so many questions, we are inviting someone who has spent so much time in the field, who can actually tell us what it takes to be a lecturer and how many years, what's the advantage, the disadvantage, and everything that we need to know about being a lecturer as a career profession for someone that just finished or someone in university. So stay tuned, grab your popcorn and drink and relax and watch this episode. I promise it will be entertaining and enjoyable for everyone. Hello guys, with me we have Daniel, also a 500 level student of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. So he will join me in asking so many questions. Daniel, say hi.
Hi, my name is Daniel, also a 500 level student of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. It is going to be an interesting episode. We will not just be learning about the advantages of being a lecturer. We'll also be checking out on the challenges, because they are also human beings like we are. So there are various challenges they are also facing. So it's going to be an interesting episode. Just stay tuned and keep watching.
So I know you guys will be wondering who we're introducing. So in no distant time, our guest speaker will be stepping in. So we are introducing our lecturer, also occupying the position of the head of the department in our department, Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. So we are talking about no other person than Engineer Dr. Ndukwe Agha. So I know you guys should be jamming your hands together as we welcome our HOD to grace this platform. Thank you. So we are with the head of the department, Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, Futo. So sir, please can you introduce yourself for us?
I think the introduction has been made. Welcome back, viewers. I am Agha Ndukwe, as they rightly introduced me, and I assure you that today's episode will be somewhat interesting. Sit back and watch what we have for you guys.
So without wasting much of our time, Daniel, I'll give you the mic to actually ask your question.
Okay, my first question for today says, was lecturing your initial career choice?
Of course, growing up, you may have so many options. As you enter into the university, there are so many options, but the final choice to make should be after graduation, and it is as you are undertaking your studies, you are also looking out for opportunities, and after graduation, right, you will now decide on the very good path to follow. And the decision to become a lecturer didn't come as a surprise. After the first degree, proceeding to the second degree is an indication that you're tending towards becoming a lecturer. That was actually what happened, and I arrived at this lecturing job. Thank you.
Okay. So I have a question. What has the job as a lecturer been?
To become a lecturer is a challenging one. One is that you are available for lectures. You would have other engagements as may be assigned to you by the head of department or the leadership of the institution. You would be available for invigilation and you would also be available to conduct studies, research studies. So it's a challenging engagement, I must say.
So my next question here for you, sir, states you were talking about some of the challenges you are faced in your line of profession. So I'd like you to outline these challenges. How has it been coping with these challenges since your inception as a lecturer?
Just like I outlined the activities that you'll be involved in as a lecturer, like teaching, carrying out research, doing other things. You have so many activities, so you have a very tight schedule, making it difficult for you to know the priority. There should be a priority, right?
Yes.
And those activities, if you don't try to balance the equation, you end up not doing the right thing at the right time.
Yes.
Every engagement, every activity is important, but there are deadlines for achieving certain requirements. Like in terms of research, right? You may be overloaded with your activities in other areas, like teaching and doing other assigned duties. But when you neglect your research, you end up not satisfying the requirement for your promotion. So it's a big challenge if you don't do that. If you sacrifice your time for research, doing other activities, you may end up not satisfying the requirement for your promotion. So the big challenge is how to divide your time appropriately. One, to achieve growth in the profession, and also not to be found wanting in other activities. So if you could strike a balance, you would end up achieving your aim, becoming a lecturer. By the way, what is this aim of becoming a lecturer? Everybody that is into a particular activity would want to get an optimal result. Becoming a lecturer, you should grow, right?
Yes.
So, which is the major aim of becoming a lecturer? To ascend to the highest echelon, which is to become a professor. So that is it. So these are the challenges, and you must strike a balance to achieve that aim of rising to the apex of the career.
Okay, sir, we want to know what are the benefits that you have enjoyed and probably the discouragements or the disadvantages you have had being a lecturer.
Well, if you talk about the advantages that I have earned being a lecturer, I must say that the profession is flexible, that you have activities and you have time to do that, right?
Yes.
You may have time for lectures, you do your lectures, you can go back to the library or go back home if you don't have any other thing to do, right?
Yes.
So that is the flexibility I'm talking about. So you are not expected to be in one place at a time. You are expected to do your activity. That is when you're scheduled to invigilate. You should be at the venue of invigilation. After your invigilation, you may go home, right?
Yes.
Or you may engage in other activities. If it is for research, you may decide on when to carry out your research. So there is flexibility in the profession.
Okay.
But in terms of the disadvantage, of course, the pay is very low. So that is, but there are opportunities that you could earn becoming a lecturer, like gaining sponsorship to attend conferences, TED Fund sponsorship to attend conferences, and also workshops. If you could apply early enough, you must have to know the timelines and make your applications as early as possible in order for your applications to be considered. So there are many other things you could enjoy if you get the information early enough and follow the application process. You may be sent for your workbench if you're doing research for an example, and the institution will pay for that. So there are so many benefits, and the disadvantage, of course, is the low remuneration.
Okay, so far so good. I hope we are all learning a lot from the challenges, the advantages, the disadvantages, and a lot. I hope we are all learning. Then my next question says, aside lecturing, what other career profession would you have opted out for outside lecturing?
Yes, it's difficult to answer that question because I love so many things. I love calligraphy. I also like to be involved in so many things, challenging things. So that is why I said it's difficult to answer the question. But be rest assured that apart from academics, I can easily fit into other engagements.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir, for answering most of our questions. We have got to know so many things now. So I'll be asking the question, but it will be a two question in one. So the first one will, how many years have you put in this profession to get to being a senior lecturer, and how many years can someone put into to get to being a senior lecturer, and can you advise someone to be a lecturer? And also it will be 3, and also what can the student see in himself, because I feel that lecturing is also passion based. People you should have that passion to teach. Most lecturers that I know are not teaching because of the money per se, but they have the love of impacting to other people. So I'm kind of worried. So many students are, how can someone know that yes, I'm meant to be a lecturer, I'm meant to be a teacher? So is a 3-in-1 question. One, how many years have you put into in this profession, and can you advise someone to be a lecturer, and how can someone identify that this is a calling, because it's actually a calling?
Okay, talking about how many years I've put into the profession, let's say since 2015. If you add up, you are getting approximately 9 years into this profession. And talking about whether to advise someone or not, people have what they feel they could be part of and excel. But that doesn't mean that they don't have wider scope to engage favorably in other activities. And coming back to the feelers that could make you know if you tend towards the academics, coming to become a lecturer. Basically, everybody has equal opportunities to become whoever they want to be, including being a lecturer, right? And you don't get to learn everything in one day. Rome, they say, wasn't built in one day. You keep progressing as you repeatedly do something, right? So becoming a lecturer, even when you're shy, speaking to the audience, it doesn't mean there is no indicator to make you as a veritable candidate to become a lecturer.
Yes.
So it is something that with time becomes part of you, right?
Yes.
Those who have lectured 1,000 people without encountering stage frights, it didn't become that stable in one day or in one outing. At the beginning, they might have been uncomfortable teaching, impacting knowledge, right?
Yes.
But they always have a message to pass. That is the most important thing. How you do it is another thing. You perfect the method, the techniques you employ to delivering with time.
Yes.
That is what is important to note. As long as you have a message to pass across, it makes you a veritable candidate to become a lecturer.
My question is for our viewers out there who are not familiar with this aspect of engineering, that is materials and metallurgical engineering. I would like you to give us an overview of materials and metallurgical engineering as a course of study, and what are the duties of a materials and metallurgical engineering student or engineering graduate. Thank you.
This program, Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, is one of the oldest courses established at the Federal University of Technology. And what it basically entails is the study of metals and materials. So materials in the sense of those items used for engineering activities, the solids, they are the materials. The solids you could use to produce engineering products. So these studies are examined in the course of materials science and engineering. So what that means is that the program is broader. It exceeds the boundaries of metals to ceramics, composites, and other areas of engagement. So for you to be a metallurgical or materials engineer, you must have been grounded in engineering materials and how to modify the microstructure of engineering materials to produce materials for the intended application. Being a materials and metallurgical engineer would enable you to achieve that, not only on knowing about metals. When we talk about metals, we are concerned about how to bring back, right, what had gone back to the original form into a usable form, right? And as you continue to use the metals are reverting back to the original forms, right? Metals are mostly from the ores, and they could exist in sulfides, sulfates, and the rest of that. But the essence of the study is to beneficiate the ore to the point that they are usable to serve mankind. So you convert them to usable materials, which are metals. You may also want to blend the metals with other non-metallic materials or elements to achieve a more usable product depending on the application. So you could alloy the metal to obtain different properties. So that is for metals, producing it from the ore to a usable product. Now, as a metallurgical engineer, you must also pay attention to what happens to the metals when they are being used. You should be knowledgeable about the environmental impact on the metals in terms of corrosion. So while in use, you should make every possible effort to maintain and prevent the attack on the metals. That is why you paint the metals and employ other corrosion prevention methods to reduce the rate at which the metals degrade following its interaction with the environment. And being a metallurgical and materials engineer, you are qualified to work in glass and ceramic industries, because when you acquire the theoretical knowledge in the university and with the support of your research in such areas, you can comfortably be trained to fit into the ceramics and glass industries. And another area where a metallurgical engineer or a materials and metallurgical engineer could fit into is the oil and gas sector. We just mentioned corrosion, which is more like the degradation of metals and alloys as a result of their interaction with the environment. The oil and gas sector currently faces this menace of corrosion, where flue gases, upon contact with moisture, cause problems to their platforms. So, as a metallurgical and materials engineer, you should be knowledgeable about what to employ to reduce corrosion. The current proposed study about the use of thermal spray on our metal platforms in the oil and gas industry is one of the veritable techniques we intend to employ to reduce corrosion. And another aspect is what you could do to prevent the anodic process and also modify the cathodic process. So these are the things a materials and metallurgical engineer should know when he intends to venture into the oil and gas sector. And there are also different techniques, testing techniques you are expected to employ, like pigging the pipelines and also the non-destructive testing to arrive at a veritable data for analysis to enable you make informed decisions regarding the maintenance of pipelines in the oil and gas sector. In the medical sector, for instance, there are alloys that have been modified to use for the replacement of broken limbs. So those who may be affected by these violent situations across the country, who may have lost their limbs, could have those replaced using synthesized materials as a result of the study of materials and metallurgical engineering.
Yes.
So there are vast areas we cover in this discipline. And in terms of composites, for instance, different materials had been added to produce a suitable product which could replace what we have been using that had been expensive getting them. We can source local materials, blend to get useful properties with which could serve as a replacement for those expensive materials that we use. What is important is to internalize this discipline and progress to the point of profiling solutions to our emerging problems. The scope of materials and metallurgical engineering is wider to take care of so many engineering problems, and that is what we intend to represent in our communities and our immediate environment.
No, thank you so much, sir. And I believe that you've explained everything to us and to our viewers who are keen to listen and to obtain this information. You have talked about so many things, how materials and metallurgical engineering is an important course or important discipline in engineering. Talked about the health sector, which the health of individuals or citizens of a country matters a lot. So not only a doctor working on the health, but as an engineer, materials and metallurgical engineering also contributes in the well-being of individuals by producing or researching on materials that can also help in improving their health. We also talked about the oil and gas, which they are facing a lot of problems due to corrosion of their pipelines, which we also talked about that materials and metallurgical engineering also offer solution to it. We also looked about composites, looking at the cost of materials in our daily world today is very high. Now, materials and metallurgical engineering, we are actually stepping in to solve the problem by locally sourcing materials that can also help to reduce the price of so many things. So many things that you're seeing today, for me, I feel that materials and metallurgical engineering is one of the most important engineering. Because whatever you can think of, whatever that you can see is a material and it is produced from somewhere. So it is produced from one material or the other. So parents, people that are still in secondary school, they are also wondering what engineering can I study. Materials and metallurgical engineering is also one of the most important engineering that cut across all sectors. So you're welcome to materials and metallurgical engineering, not just in FUTO, but in any other university of your choice. I want to tell you that we have actually said a lot about it. So I will leave my brother Daniel Okoro to actually say one or two things and we say goodbye to this episode. Thank you.
Yes, like my colleague has stated, materials and metallurgical engineering has been a very interesting ride. And vast knowledge and ideas have been equipped with the knowledge of providing solutions to the modern engineering problems. We have so many engineering problems around us. We have the agriculture still there, which materials and metallurgical engineering engineers can still work there too. We also have so many engineering problems that requires the skill of a materials and metallurgical engineer. So for now, we will be ending here. I would like to appreciate each and every one of us that have watched this video to this point. And I'd like to remind you, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And then if you have any other further questions you would like to ask, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.